Well, guys, Bushiroadas did it. They have found a way to bring back Limit Break into Car 5 Vanguard Premium, and I want to get down and look at each one of these deck sets and see what we saw. I can't believe it happened, but they reprinted 2 cards I never thought would get a reprint. So let's get into it. If you ever want to get a deck box that looks like this, or even a binder like this, well, now's your chance because Dueling Guard has so many more deck boxes and binders that look just like this with your favorite characters on them. If you guys go down below, click the link and use code NARU at checkout, you'll be able to get 5% off your order and be able to enjoy some of these wonderful things from your favorite anime. If you guys have any questions, don't hit down below and check out duelingguard.com. What's up, Cardfires? My name is Naru Samurai and welcome back to the video, and we're going to be covering a little bit of the Stride deck sets because they revealed Musketeers, Revengers, and the one and only Jewel Knights, and I gotta say, I've never seen a better product actually in a while, because when we got the Harry and Nairo's deck sets, they were kind of lackluster. You almost had to buy like 2 or 3 of them just to get everything that you wanted out of it. And the Stride organization was, in my opinion, very terrible in comparison. But starting us off, I do want to go into Jewel Knights with the main deck, and I gotta say, I can't believe I'm seeing it. You got the one and only Sword Me. I will tell you right now, guys, this card has not been reprinted in such a long time. And the fact that I'm looking at right now, I'm starstruck. Like, I can't believe it. It's back. But with that, the main deck does have a little bit of everything that we kind of needed for Jewel Knights. Except for the Legion, you guys don't need that. You guys can take that out. I guess they're trying to find a spot for everything, and they had to include something. But the only thing that I'll bump up over there is the Ashleys that you guys see in there. You don't need much of the reverse. Mind you, the reverse is mainly used for the Link Joker matchup, and sometimes doesn't even win the Link Joker matchup half the time. So you only need 1 or 2 of the reverse for Ashleys. Going into the deck, it pretty much gives you 4 of everything you need. You get 3 copies. The grade 1 that says Counterblast 1 if you have 4 other units or Jewel Knights in your name. You may reveal grade 3 in your hand, search your deck for a grade 3, call it to the field, and at the end of turn it comes to your hand. You get your 4 copies of your heal, your 3 PGs. You get an Elementaria, which is still 20 bucks right now, hopefully going down with this reveal. You pretty much get everything you needed all in one set, and you really can't minus. And then if we take a moment and go back into the Stride zone for it, you almost get like everything. You get that 1 Crystal Luster, which you are going to need more copies of and may be your most expensive purchase, but beyond that, you get your Harmonix Messiah, which is also a big plus. You really just don't minus on this one. You get your 4 copies of your Stride that got eroded, and honestly, it's a great deal right there. 1 triple rare version of the force markers, as well as the triple rare version of the crest. Honestly, that's pretty solid. I mean, you guys don't need it, but you know, you guys got it. And it kind of looks like they're copying a little bit from the Harry and Nairo's deck set and giving us some foiling, but the majority of it is still going to be a common deck set, which honestly gets a lot of people in premium into the game, and probably a solid way to build out a community by incorporating a format that was actually really well back in the day, which was Limit Break, because it does give you the ability to go beyond a little bit once you reach a certain damage, but that's not even needed anymore because you got the crest taking care of that. Now, to move a little bit on, we do go into Revengers, and like Sword Me, Mana. Mana is probably the most surprising card to see here, just for the fact that they already made Tartu, so they could have like just said, oh, we don't need Mana. But the fact of the matter is they did put Mana back in, so now you have not only one way with Tartu, but Mana being able to be on play, search for another grade 1, call to the field, and minimize the amount of hand you use for Raging Form. Following that, they did give us 2 copies of the reverse, which could be bumped to 3. Drag Ruler Phantom is an iffy one in my opinion. Like, you kind of don't want it. You want to make sure that you see Raging Form in hand, so it's probably hurting you more than doing you a favor in premium. And then we have our other grade 3 dragon, which is going to be able to get us into Raging Form if we don't have it in hand, or to save the copy in our hand to rewrite. We pretty much have the rest of the Avenger engine, the Angel that calls as a card when it's retired, as well as the reprint of the V cards, being able to retire, pop one of your opponent's units, which gets rid of the Hanali that's on board, which honestly is not an issue. You're going to keep riding a Vanguard and swinging with a Vanguard, so Hanali is not going to be used. Moving on. Honestly, they built the deck pretty much how the deck is usually played. You don't need a second box for most of these, in my opinion. I honestly don't think you need a second box to the Jewel Knights. You can just order the last 2 copies of Ashley and then pick up your Crystal Lasers. For Raging Form though, it's kind of weird because you don't need to order a second box. You possibly just need to order 2 more of the reverse, or even 1 of the reverse, and take out Drag Ruler and fill in some spaces. Put Mana to 4, possibly the grade 1 that's on rest, top 5 for a Raging Form. Or you can put in the grade 1 that says Counterblast when placed, search your deck for a Raging Form and add it to hand. Or a Revenger grade 3 and add it to hand. So honestly, you have options there. But going into the G zone, you do have Raging Wrapped, which is probably copying the effects of Raging Form, pretty much being able to do Raging Wrap multiple times, turning up more copies face up, which puts in question if you do need more Chainranker Dragons. In my opinion, I think Chainranker Dragon will need to be in there for a 2 of at least, just so that you have a following turn if you want to stay on Raging Form, or be on the reverse unit for that last turn, go into Chainranker, have that 3 to 4 checks, as well as being able to just swing twice with huge numbers because all your board gave it power. Other than that, not a big worry if you have to or not. It kind of does set the stage a little bit, and honestly, like I said before, it's really good out of the box. Now going into the last one, which is kind of a weird one because there's a lot of net decking in here and no one is completely confident if it's a viable option, is the Musketeer deck. Now Musketeers, interesting enough, got a lot within their crest. They have the abilities of Cecilia, as well as Cecilia being able to call a board, but there's not really a lot of multi-attacking yet. And I say this because, I have some doubts about what can possibly cause a lot of multi-attacking, but at the current moment, we just see that Cecilia can set the board and give us a certain amount of units when swinging. Now, what you could do is with the reverse, be able to call it onto the field and use some of the cards available to create some plant tokens. Now we do have Selena that's creating a plant token, and the grade 1 that says Soul Blast 1 place, create a plant token. So we got our 2 plant tokens for the reverse unit. I know I'm going a little bit into the corporation of the cards, but what I'm trying to say is that even though on paper it doesn't look like Musketeers has changed much, there's a good chance that with the crest, we can possibly see Musketeers not taking over the Katrina deck in meta, but in a sense being a secondary option that is very viable. But taking a look at the other grade 3s, I do think that one that says on play is getting a crit, as well as the other one that is meant to incorporate itself well with the grade 2, is honestly not a needed card in my opinion. They do have Musketeer in their name, but they're not giving you a lot of benefit on board. You kind of good with just Cecilia and Cecilia reverse. I would keep the 2 copies at least of the on plays get a crit because it's pushing for numbers. Outside of that, the rest of the deck is pretty solid. You got that 18k base when it swings, and the one that lets you look at the top, call a card, and if you call the trigger, activate its trigger effects. Honestly, well-rounded deck. Like most of the other ones, you get all your pieces. Elementaria, like, oh my god, bro, how cheap is Elementaria going to be now once these guys come out? But with that, still a solid deck list, and I do think that the G zone does complement very well with Musketeers. You kind of don't really need to pick up another card in the G zone. You can keep Katrina at 1. The main purpose of the deck kind of doesn't focus much on Katrina, and you don't have a lot of token generators outside of Katrina being used. Now, with that said, you could still use Katrina, call set of plant tokens, and call Musketeers on board, which is a possible play, but you do need to already have cards face up, which is incorporated when you go into Virginal Cecilia, being able to turn up a copy of her to get 2 force markers, as well as turn up another copy. So you would have 3 to 4 face up by the time you go into Katrina. So you do have the option of Katrina there. You can run 1 Katrina, at most 2, and then probably a Cyclone in there just to give an extra 5k to the first round of attacks, and then followed up with Musketeer units. There's a few different plays going on, but I would say that nothing is set and told, but from what we got on paper, these are probably the most best ways and affordable ways to get into premium right at that. Now, going in with that, do I think that this is going to change premium much? Not sure. There's a lot of options there. And looking at mainly Revengers, actually, I do think Revengers are going to see play again because they're such a good deck back in the day. Coming back and being like this powerhouse, kind of similar to Draconic Overlord, is going to make a big difference for them later down the line. Now, Raging Wrapped is a solid card now that you can activate pretty much like Raging Form. So there's more to tell, more to see moving forward. But with that, that is going to be my video today. Do you guys enjoy the new deck sets coming out? Are you going to get some of your friends into Premium? Please let me know down in the comments down below. And if you do like this video and want to see more like this, please leave a subscribe. It lets me know that I'm doing a good job, which probably not that well because I'm uploading once a month. But I would like to see that everyone's enjoying their time. But with that, thank you so much for coming by and see you all in the next one. Peace.